Henry and Melissa Carter had spent nearly a decade saving every penny they could to finally move out of their cramped New Jersey apartment and into a picture-perfect suburban dream home. So, when they were approved for a 2-story, white-pillared colonial in Westridge Hollow, a gated community with lush green lawns, chirping birds, and smiling neighbors, they felt like they had entered paradise. The Homeowners Association was strict, yes, but the rules seemed simple. Mow the lawn weekly, keep garbage bins out of sight, don't paint your house any unauthorized color, and no holiday decorations past January 2nd. Simple. Or so they thought. From the moment they moved in, they noticed small things, too small to matter on their own, but impossible to ignore in a pattern. Their welcome cookies were still warm when delivered at 4:06 p.m. exactly. The welcome packet contained a neighborhood map, oddly annotated with red dots and black XS. And the president of the HOA, Evelyn Granger, a woman in her late 60s with perfectly white hair and icy blue eyes, seemed to appear out of nowhere whenever they even thought about questioning a rule. The first incident occurred when Melissa hung a wind chime on the front porch. The next morning, it was gone, and a note was taped to their door in red ink. This is not permitted. One warning only. They were confused, even laughed a little, until Melissa saw the surveillance footage from their Ring camera. There was no footage. Just static. At exactly 3:33 a.m., the screen went dark for 20 minutes, and when it returned, the chime was gone. Henry brushed it off, blaming tech glitches and nosy HOA reps. But then came the screams. Faint at first. Distant. Barely audible. But every night at exactly 3:33 a.m., they heard it. A man's voice screaming, not in fear, but in agony. They asked the neighbors. The neighbors smiled. Must be the coyotes, one said. Another replied, it's just the wind playing tricks. But the mailman told a different story. There's houses here, he whispered, that don't get mail anymore. But someone still lives there. One night, Henry followed the sound. It led him behind their cul-de-sac, past a no trespassing sign, to a row of houses that looked like they hadn't been touched in years, shutters broken, grass dead, yet faint lights glowed in the basements. As he approached, a man bolted out from behind a bush and grabbed Henry. His face was dirty, eyes wild. You don't understand, he whispered. They're not protecting you from outsiders. They're protecting something else, something inside. Before Henry could respond, flashlights appeared from the trees, and the man vanished into the woods. Evelyn was there. Mr. Carter, she said calmly, this area is off limits. You've violated Code 27B. Consider this your only warning. The next day, their lawn was mysteriously manicured, their garbage bins washed and disinfected. Melissa joked, either the HOA has secret elves, or we're being watched. But the laughter faded when Henry noticed their bedroom mirror. On the inside edge, in foggy residue, someone had written, they see everything. Things escalated fast. A neighbor named Greg, known for blasting country music in his garage, suddenly disappeared. His wife claimed he left her. But Melissa saw Evelyn and 2 other board members carry large black bags into Greg's garage at night, and the next morning, the garage was sealed off. The neighborhood newsletter reported Greg had relocated for work. Melissa began researching Westridge Hollow. No articles. No records. Not even a Wikipedia page. The HOA's website had no working contact info. Their phone line led to endless hold music. She found a dusty book in the town library titled Communities of Control, Suburban Myths and Cultic Governance. Westridge Hollow had a chapter. It detailed mysterious disappearances, psychological manipulation, and governance by ritual. The deeper she read, the colder she felt. Henry begged her to stop, but it was too late. That night, Melissa had a nightmare. She was standing on their lawn, surrounded by neighbors in ceremonial robes. Evelyn stood at the center, reading from a dark leather-bound book, chanting. Melissa's limbs were stiff, her mouth unable to scream. She woke up with bruises on her wrists and ankles, as if she had been tied down. Henry was skeptical, until he had the dream too. But in his, Melissa was missing, and the book Evelyn held had their names in it, crossed out. They decided to flee. Packed the car. Left at midnight. As they approached the gate, it wouldn't open. Evelyn's face appeared on the intercom. I'm disappointed, she said. You broke the covenant. Then everything went black. They woke up in their bed the next morning. The car was gone. Their suitcases were empty. Their memories were fuzzy. Melissa checked her arm. Under her skin, just visible under the light, a symbol had been burned in, an eye inside a triangle. Henry called the police, but the line cut off. He drove to the sheriff's office in town, only to find it abandoned. Melissa ran to a neighbor's house, only to find mannequins inside, dressed as the families who supposedly lived there. The entire community was a facade, a front, a stage built for a ritual. That night, during a town potluck, they tried to confront Evelyn in front of everyone. Evelyn simply smiled and said, "They're not ready yet. But soon, very soon." Then she whispered something into Melissa's ear. Melissa collapsed, bleeding from her nose. Henry screamed, but no one reacted. The crowd simply continued eating. Days blurred. Nights stretched. Henry began seeing shadows and mirrors that didn't match his own movements. Melissa stopped sleeping altogether. One day, she simply stood in the hallway, staring at a blank wall for hours. When he shook her, she whispered, "They're inside me now." On the final night, the entire neighborhood was invited to a community event in the Central Park. Torches lit the path. A stage was built. Evelyn stood atop it, book in hand. She began chanting. Neighbors surrounded Henry and Melissa, each holding candles, eyes blank. Evelyn read their names from the book. "With this offering," she said, "we renew the silence." The ground opened. Melissa was pulled into it, screaming Henry's name. He ran to her, but hands grabbed him, dozens of them, dragging him back. He screamed as he watched her vanish into the earth. Then, silence. The next morning, their house was up for sale. A new family arrived. The same cookies. The same welcome note. "Welcome to Westridge Hollow, where harmony is everything. Please obey the guidelines." Always. No one mentioned Henry or Melissa again. But at 3:33 a.m., the screams continued.